Hi everyone. Hi Mom. Okay, I thought that today, because I haven't really started any new projects, I would actually show you what I've been working on. This journal was done before I went to Hawaii, and now I filled it up. So I thought I would do a quick flip for you to see the kinds of things that I hang on to, and, silly things, but good memories anyways. So this is the most recent one. I have an older one that I'm working on. I'm kind of working backwards, but I went and printed out at Walmart. You can get a collage, and you can get them really small. That one's a 2x3, and you get four in a sheet. And I mean, all of the photos I ended up getting, in a total, I think I paid, I don't know, $5. It was really cheap to do. And it's a great way to, use your journals and use smaller photos in them. And that way, you're not using, 4x6 and turning them funny, or having to make ginormous journals for your trips. So this is what I do. This one here, this is the Graphic 45 Travelog paper line. And it comes with a ton of cutouts. So I simply cut these out like this and then accordion them. Now I don't have photos on them yet. I printed out some, but I wasn't actually sure how many I'd need. So now I'm at the end of the book, and this is what I have left over. So this will get photos. I just have to go back and print some. And then I made a little passport one. Now these will fit a bigger one. Not a 4x6, but a 3x4. I'm not dead certain that they print that size. I'll have to check it out and see. But I wouldn't mind doing a few that are larger. I think there's 6 can fit in this one. So then I kept the map. We went to Maui and we went to Oahu. So the first part of our trip was 2 weeks on Maui. And so I hadn't been there since, I guess it was 2012 maybe, and never to stay for weeks at a time. We were just on a cruise ship, so we only had 2 days on Maui. Now when I was a kid, I stayed on Maui for a couple of weeks, but I think I was 15 at the time. Yeah, probably 15 at the time. Things have changed a lot. Let's just say that. It's not as quiet as I thought it was going to be compared to Oahu. So, but it was interesting. It's not my favorite island. I'm going to say that up front. I know a lot of people love Maui. I'm not really a resort kind of person. Neither one of us are. We like to explore. And with Maui, it's a huge island compared to Oahu. So it takes you a long time to get anywhere. And, once you've done that, half your day's gone. Well, most of your day's gone, basically. So, and if you're comparing restaurants, if you're a foodie, we're not really a foodie, but we do like restaurants, and we like eating out. And they're compared to Oahu, no comparison. Oahu has way better restaurants, way more restaurants. But having said all of that, it was great. We did have a lot of fun, saw really cool things, and anyway, I documented it. So this is every day I journaled, and then came home with bits and bobs and just cut them or stapled them, or this was off of, I don't know, something. I have no idea. I kept the coffee bag, just cut it up, and it actually smells like coffee, so it's awesome. And then on this side, I bought those salad tongs, the little ones, little hands, and they're made of bamboo. So I kept that. This is off the top of my jam. So I kept that too. And like I said, lots of journaling. Used up a lot of these tags and stuff. So we stayed at the Kaanapali Shores, and that's the front of the building. It was a leftover photo I had, so I just stuck it on there. We had done, some driving around. We found this awesome pier, so I took some photos of that. Now this is deli paper that I kept, and it's an old newspaper front. I thought this was amazing, and this was from Kimos. And surprisingly enough, when I asked my waitress, is it weird if I ask you for a deli sheet? She goes, you'd be surprised how many people ask me for these. So I felt pretty good. Didn't feel like a weirdo. Anyway, they have the best, the most spectacular hula pie, and it's ginormous. We all shared it, but it was so good. I could have had that as a meal. Yeah, just that. And then I had fish tacos, so I stuck that on there. This was their napkin, and I just podged it onto a tag I'd cut out so I could keep that. And actually this raffia was tied around something I bought there as well, so makes great ties on the top. And this is our little ticket we got to go on the Tropical Express, a little train that goes through this what is it? It's like a farm, basically. And I did this years ago, and I really enjoyed it. So it's changed a lot. Like, there's so many beautiful places in it now. None of that was in there. They have zip lines in there now and everything. So, but yeah, just documented that we did Haleakala. This was really, really, really hard for me to do. It's 10,023 feet high. And the road just literally goes like this, back and forth, all straight up. And by the time I got there, I found out that I actually suffer from altitude sickness. So, yeah, that was really, really hard for me to do. I did get to the very top. I did the stairs and turned right around, came right back down, and just waited for them. This is my mother-in-law, and my husband's there. So waited for them to come down so we could get in the car and leave. I thought, never doing that again. I really felt horrible. So anyway, they have, it is a national park, a state park. So Nene's is the state bird. And they're protected birds. So they hand out these postcards, which of course I snagged. And yeah, just took some pictures. The cool thing about volcanoes on the islands is that nowhere else will you find certain plants in the world. That's where they grow, and nowhere else. So that's kind of cool. I love the history of the islands. We stopped at a coffee shop, so I kept the sleeve, and there's some more photos. This was part of that tropical place plantation that we went to, and she did the coconut husking, and then I thought that was a really neat picture. Anyway, this was the tickets that you get for a craft fair that we went to, and I obviously didn't put them in for the draw. We didn't stay long enough for that anyway. We had breakfast at Slappy Cakes, and you can actually cook your own pancakes right at your table. There's a kind of a flat stovetop there, and yeah, I wasn't about to do that because I'm not cooking on my holidays. So this is the Slappy Moco. And if anybody's had loco moco, it's like amazing. It looks disgusting, but it's so delicious. We did the Road to Hana, and this is off the banana bread that we bought. They do homemade banana bread there. And this is some of the things that we stopped at on the Road to Hana. There was this gorgeous park and this cool pier, and my husband took some amazing pictures there. And then this was a shack on the way up there, and my first taste of an apple banana. Never had one. Been to the island so many times and never had one. Now I know why everybody raves about them, because they are fantastic. Waterfalls galore when you do the Road to Hana, and the most spectacular sights. This probably was one of our favorite things. It's a long day. I do suggest, if you're going to go, rent a car, do it yourself. The first time we did it, we did do a tour, and it was great, I have to say. He was so informative. You do get that part of it. However, because the van is a little on the bigger side, you can't stop at a lot of places. When you rent a car, you can kind of squeeze in here and there and get out and take photos. So we did it both ways, and we actually preferred doing it ourselves with the car. So this is a little roadside stand. They had this really cool old car there, and they sold like fresh coconut and jarred jams and different things like that. And this was a coffee shop. Well, of course, I work for Starbucks, so have to go to a coffee shop. So I did a coffee tasting, and that was fun. And this guy down here, he's a carver, does amazing work. I bought a whale tail, carved whale tail. And because he was there, he signed the bottom for me. He actually was commissioned by the Vancouver Canucks to do some carvings. So that was kind of cool. I met a celebrity. He was super nice. And this is where we stayed here. This is at the front of our place. And this is what we looked at from our window. So we did have oceanfront, which was beautiful. And here's another deli paper. And this one is from Chemo's, I think. No. Oh, Bubba Gump's. That's where that was from. So we enjoyed that. I kept business cards, you know, from places that I shopped at. You know, this is from the shirts that we always get Ken, his shirts at Crazy Shirts, because he's 6'5", so it's really hard to get shirts long enough for him. So yeah, we did some funny shots. This is the Pioneer Inn, which is really neat. It's right on the waterfront, and it was the only hotel on the entire island until 1960. So that's kind of cool history there. And this is Cool Cats. Now, if you ever get a chance to do Lahaina, you have to go to Cool Cats. The best hamburger I've ever had in my life. And it's up top, so there's stairs. You go upstairs. Really, really great. And then they do this thing called frings, and it's half fries, half onion rings. So that was a first for us too. We had the Duke Burger. Fantastic. I mean, they have this other thing. It's called the 808. 808 is actually the area code for Hawaii, but it's called the 808. And what it is, it's, oh my God, it's the biggest hamburger ever. If you can manage to eat it in a certain amount of time, I forget what they give you, but your name goes on a board, you get something, and oh, I know. It was like so gross, the thought. And I'm like, has anybody ever done it? He showed us the wall. Like a ton of people did it. I'm like, okay then. Yeah, I couldn't do it. There's no way I could do it. But anyway, this is, yeah, just a lot of fun. We did have a lot of fun. This is down at Black Rock. And this was traveling past Lahaina, and we were on our way to do a snorkel and a catamaran sail. And just some shots. The surf was huge that day, and it was really cool. So got some great shots of that. This is the catamaran sail that we did, so I kept that. And then Mom went home, and now Ken and I are on Oahu, in Waikiki. So Cheesecake Factory, you have to go to the Cheesecake. I know Americans have them, I know that. Canada doesn't have Cheesecake Factory. And I know a lot of people say, oh, why would you go to the Cheesecake Factory? There's so many great restaurants on Oahu. Why would you do that? Because we don't have any. And we love it. Now, we don't eat as much as we used to anymore, you know, and their portions are way bigger than necessary. But we do stay at a condo, so we end up just taking it home with us. This was shrimp scampi, and it was delicious. It was so good. And so we treat ourselves once now. We used to go several times, but now we're down to going once. So, yeah, you can rent beach chairs and umbrellas while you're on Waikiki Beach. If, you know, you're sensitive to the sun like I am, being a redhead. Yeah, then we did this awesome tour, and it's Oahu Photography Tours. I go every time, and I try and go once or twice. I'm really loving photography, and I'm not good at it. So we take the tour with Alex, nice young man, does a fantastic tour, very professional, and he really helps you out a lot on, you know, settings and different things like that. So we did this one tour called Friday Night Lights, and we went around different parts of Oahu, and every Friday at the Hilton there's fireworks. I've never ever seen them. I have been to Hawaii, I can't even count, 8 times, 10 times, I don't know, and never seen the fireworks. So this was cool for me because usually I'm zonked and I'm in bed because it's tiring, and there's 3 hours difference for us on the West Coast. And so this was fun. This was just a lot of fun. My husband loved it. We both loved it. And we did some light painting. Alex did in lights Hawaii 5-0s. That's why I put Book'em there. And then he traced around us and gave Ken wings. And I'm supposed to be doing the King Kamehameha stance there. And I told him to make me look skinnier, but yeah, that didn't work. So anyway, that's fine. So this was our sunrise tour. My husband had never taken any of the tours before, so when I came back with all these photos, and he was like, holy smokes, those are fantastic. I said, well, you should come with me. You'd enjoy it. So we did. We had such a great time. Chris took us on the morning one. So we took some great photos at Sandy Beach, and then we were up at Pali. This is Pali here and here. And then this is I believe that's the Makapu'u Point Lookout, and down there is Sandy Beach. So that's where we ended up, was down here. Fantastic time. Just loved it. And then I kept the one place that you have to go, it's a must, it's been there over 50 years, never changed their menu, and that's the Rainbow Drive-In. And it's an old drive-in, like what you think of when you think of the 50s and 60s. And they haven't changed anything. And the food is spectacular, and it's cheap and fast, and it's a full meal for like $8. Just phenomenal. So I kept the menu. And then on this side, these are all ephemera off of handmade soap that I get in Hawaii. And I get it shipped now because when I bought it there the first time, it was just a little outdoor market. And I've been back since, and I haven't seen her there. So they do have a website. You can get it directly from Hawaii. And if you order a certain amount, it's free shipping. So, it's about $8 a bar. But the bars are like about that big. They're huge bars and all natural products. So I keep the ephemera because I think it's hilarious. Some of them are kind of, a little on the risque side. So I'm careful about that. But great soaps. Anyway, I picked up some postcards, and we finally went to Mac 24/7. It was recommended to us after our Friday night tour. We were hungry, and so we stopped there. It was just across the street from where we were staying, and we made the mistake of each ordering this platter. There's so much food on it. We ended up taking a whole platter home back to the condo. We didn't realize Mac 24/7 is known for their shareable. Really, that's what it is. You order one thing and you share it. That's it. We saw somebody order pancakes. She was a little tiny Asian girl. Their pancakes were the size of the dinner plate, 3 stacked. She had this much of it. I thought, what a waste. But she probably did the same thing we did and had no idea that that's what it was. So another postcard there, and this one here. I think this one's cool. It's all the islands. And then this is stuffed with all of my receipts and luggage tags and boarding passes, that kind of thing. I still have a few things to put in there. I have this, which I want to cut up. This is what they give you when you rent from Snorkel Bob's, if you rent the flippers and stuff. My husband didn't have his own. I had brought mine, but he didn't have his own. So he rented, and they give you this card. And it's just chock-a-block full of, different fish. I did get 2, so I could actually use both sides. And so I just have to fill that up. So that's my memory. This was one of the best trips. We did have a few downs on this one, which almost never happens to us. But we thought my husband's camera was stolen, and it was missing for like 3 days, I think it was, when we landed in Waikiki, well, on the island, Honolulu. I guess he had put his camera up on the ledge where, so we could sign the papers to pick our car up, and he must have just turned around and walked away and left it there. So, of course, I went back the next day, and they said they didn't have it, so we thought, great, somebody's stolen it, and it was brand new camera. I just bought it for him. And it had 2 weeks worth of Maui photos, so it was like devastating. My husband was so upset, and he was a bear. Like, it was I felt like it was my fault somehow, you know. I knew in my head it wasn't, but he was so upset that it just translated right to me, and it wasn't fun. And, you know, Hawaii is my happy place, so it was very upsetting for me. Anyway, I went online and I filled out their form anyway. I thought, you never know, maybe somebody will at least send the card back. So I checked it every day, and I had to, you know, get on the phone and cancel our tours. And Alex was so awesome. He got a loaner camera for Ken, and then he got to keep the card, you know. He just gave it to him, which was so nice of him. So at least we were able to do the tours and everything. And so the third day comes around, and I get on the web again, and I'm looking, and it says there's a camera turned in. And of course Ken's like, well, that's not when we lost it. You know, like it said the date found. It wasn't the date we lost it. And I said, well, you never know. Let's just drive out there and see. Sure enough, it was his camera. It was like unbelievable. I guess instead of putting it in the lost and found, they put it somewhere else, because most people lose things when they turn their car in and go home. They leave something in the car. So then they have the number that you get when you actually rent a car to put on the lost item. Well, we lost it when we got there, so they had no idea whose it was, because several people had rented a car. So it didn't get turned in right away. It was put somewhere else, and then yeah, so that's why the date was different. But it was like night and day. It was, you know, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for my husband. And the rest of the trip was amazing. So yeah, we had a few really rocky days, and then of course the day we lose the camera, we get to the hotel, find out that they're working on the pool, so we had no working pool at all the entire time we were there. So that was a little upsetting, but yeah, you know, it seems not so bad now recalling it, because yeah, looking through all these photos, we had a fantastic time, and we can't wait to go back with our son in April. So anyway, that's my vlog, I guess, really. So thanks for watching and sticking around, and we'll talk real soon. I have tips, tricks, and tools coming up soon. We're going to talk about glue. So have an awesome weekend, you guys. Bye.